Hey guys, welcome to another ESL Major League game. Today we're having the series between Well Met and 3D Max, a best of three that was played during the second play day of the league. And the first map is Garden of Terror, where we even see a Zeratul that somehow made it through the draft. So let's jump in right away. Game number one between Well Met and 3D Max. Welcome everybody to game number one at the ESL Major League. Today in our best of three we are having 3D Max going up against Well Met in game number one. And looking to the left side of the map, Garden of Terror, we have in blue Leo from Korea playing for 3D Max on Uther. ADRD is playing Sergeant Hammer. Nika is playing Vala. Shaihu is on Arthur's, Yobo on Zeratul. And on the right side, of course, we're having their opponent. It is Well Met, with Nomi on Muradin, Sok on Tassadar, Get Amhead on Azebo, Hiruko on Brightwing, and Hazorps on Tychus. I'm Khaldor with Miss Kaelaris, and we're going to bring you the coverage of the ESL Major League today.
Alright, and it looks like Arthur and Tychus is going to head towards the middle with Hazorps, as say before, and playing on Tychus. And Good Amhead and Soccer just going to split down the bottom, going to be going up against Uther as well as Vala. A little bit of a slow start, nobody really wanting to reveal anything as to where they are in terms of positioning at the moment, but Zocker's going to come in with Oracle and have a look around.
Yeah, and we have in the mid lane now Arthur's going up against Tychus with Soccer Hazorps versus Shaihu. Down to the bottom lane, it is Soccer going with that tri-lane. And, well, the one important thing when we're talking about the talents here is that we already have a bit of an adjustment from Get Amhead, who picks currently, from ADRD actually, who picks his resistant talent on level 1 for Sergeant Hammer so that he can't get locked down that hard.
Yeah, certainly doesn't want to be getting locked down, you're right. There is a lot of CC on the other side of this team with people like Muradin in there, being able to land those hammers if he really wants to. And looks like they're actually going to go straight onto Hazorps in the mid lane, though. A lot of damage, and that's the power of Zeratul actually coming in and doing some good cleave, but in the end doesn't get the kill at all.
Yeah. Top lane was also kind of funny as well. We had ADRD sieging up in range of the towers, and the first thing that happens when he does that is Hiruko jumps up to the top lane with Brightwing, and ADRD just unsieged and moved back and was like, alright, I'll get it. You're going to team up against me. I have to move back here. So yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. But that's the power of Brightwing, just making sure that he helps out on all of the lanes.
Yeah, at the same time, still just a small few skirmishes in bot here. Uther holding on strong with Vala. Still Zeratul was trailing on around though there, and Nomi was jumping up for a few seeds, so gets some himself, but at the same time we're seeing Hasu also get some up to the top.
Yeah, the rotations now on the map, just making sure that they're getting as many seats as possible. You try to split those small camps as evenly as you can. There are 15 seats per camp, so you can gather up 30 per team if you get 2 of them. And we're having a split with 23 versus 22 now. And the top one goes to 3D Max apparently, so they have a slight surplus in seats there already. And the big Garden Terror, that's what both of the teams are going to aim for next. Soccer was trying to move in and at least gather a few up for his team, didn't get the chance though. And we have both of the teams now at level 4 with the additional talents already on the board.
Yeah, what are we seeing here at the moment? Normal just into Sledgehammer from Muradin, Healing Ward been taken for Tassadar. It's already a nice little bit of sustain building up here on the side of Well Met, even the protective shield going down on Brightwing too. And it looks like they're already going to challenge our 3D Max over for the big Garden Terror at the south.
Yeah, and we have on Arthur's and Venom taken, which is another talent that the tank is going to lose in the next patch that was already announced by Blizzard, and this is a big part of his damage and one of the reasons why he is so strong right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams are going to deal with that, if Arthur's is really going to be a big part of the meta in the new patch as well. Up at the top lane now we have a bit of a fight going on as suddenly ADRD is moving in to take the first few players of Well Met down.
And that healing totem doing a lot in terms of keeping them up there. Nomi just pushing on at the front and forcing them back. There was a nice cleave from Zeratul to actually start that engagement off, but didn't do enough, really. Didn't do enough to get any firm kills or firm damage on the board to actually initiate a kill.
We now also see the easy camp taken by Hazorps and Nomi. Both of them are going for that. Nomi is probably going to be very happy that the Sledgehammer that we are seeing taken on level 4 by his hero is also going to do the extra damage against mercenaries in the next patch. That should make it easier to just de-push lanes and also, of course, to capture them in the first place. In this case, he needed a bit of assistance since Tychus just moved in there for this. We have complete Stormhammer build now on Muradin with 3 talents taken.
And at the same time, Cleanse on Uther for the opponent's team. Pretty normal build so far. Not really a lot to say about that just yet.
Yeah, pretty normal. The Valor just going with the standard multi-shot build, eventually probably just jumping into Frost Shot with... Well, the ult might be a little bit interesting, actually. There is a few stuns from people like Muradin over there to try and interrupt that. But if she goes for Strafe, she should be okay as long as she's keeping an eye on when those stuns are flying out.
Nika is definitely a player from which we've seen both ultis chosen. Like, he really tries to get the strafe in if he can, if he doesn't really rely on the stun that hard. One of the talents that they could go for in 16 is Executioner, since they are having a lot of stun in the team, and also, of course, Arthur's, who helps out with that too. Oh, great wall of zombie here by Gerdam Hurt. Really nice play. He made a very good job there and completely pushed Vala out of the wall. So the first kill goes to Elmed. Very well played by Nazeebo.
Yeah, and it seems like 3D Max are going to try and take advantage of the fact that there was a lot of people in the bottom lane with Arthas pushing pretty hard up to the top. So that's the one thing they can claim back. They're actually taking a little bit of a lead in terms of that experience. But with things eking out, and now with top being soaked as well by Nomi, that should even up pretty quickly.
Yep, we are going to have the level 10 talents for both of the teams in just a second. And already at the bot lane, 3 heroes with the Zeratul looking at Gerdam Herd, trying to get maybe a kill in here. Blink kill taken on Brightwing. Vala not with a choice of talent set, and there comes Rain of Vengeance. It's kind of the standard talent still. A few players, Nika being one of them, tries occasionally to get strafe in. Shinobu prefers it even, but usually we are seeing Rain of Vengeance then picked at the end just because it gives you so much additional crowd control.
Yeah, that was cool though. You could see how every single heroic was picked up until Valor's, where there was a little bit of like, which one am I actually going to take here? Unless he was just busy. But overall, it's nice to see that there is that kind of option for a hero like Valor here, as there is a bit of pressure going down to the bot. Zombie Wall going to slow that down by just a little bit, but they do lose the outer towers, so that's a nice start there for 3D Max.
I had a couple of games at the weekend where players on certain heroes were waiting with their heroic ability until the next fight happened, with what was sometimes 2 minutes after they picked the level 10 talent. First of all, to hide which ultimate they would go for, and then of course also because depending on the situation that occurs, they might change that choice.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting when something like that happens. In this case right now, we have a nice 4-man rotation at the bottom lane for additional seats. Leo is starting to move in and help his team out, but most of the seats have already been taken by Well-Met, but both of the teams are going to end up with a plant at least.
Yeah, ADRD actually applying a lot of pressure. Oh wow, brilliant little move there by Uther just to be able to catch that pickup on Muradin at the very end. I was about to say it was great pressure, and they're going to get Zokke as well. Really nice Rain of Vengeance.
Yeah, that was a great move by Nika. That was really well done here, and the perfect moment, dropping that. And with Vala, the one problem that you always have with Rain of Vengeance is to get the maximum effect of the ultimate, you want to be as close to your opponent as possible. And usually that kind of contradicts the idea of a ranged DPS hero. In this case, though, he just moved in immediately, dropped that, and got the perfect stun off to get that kill. And that, of course, gives them now a level advantage, the extra talent already. They could use that to just get the additional seats, and they are in a great position at this point. So that talent alone is already amazing, but if they even get the top plant now and those seats, that would be the best case scenario for them.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of setup for that kill, those 2 kills that they got there. I mean, with ADRD applying a lot of pressure through there with napalm strikes and them constantly pushing on back. But now it's Gerdam Herd in the Plant Terror. Going to be pushed back in the middle here. They're looking for extra room, trying to find maybe even to push onto the extra Garden Terror themselves or push the top lane. But for now, they're just also having to deal with the extra Garden Terror here of 3D Max. So very, very close.
Yeah. The important thing to note here is that we have 80 seats against 18, and that means that only 18 are needed for 3D Max to get a second plant, and that's why they're fighting up here. And this is a great position for them to be in, because the pressure is on Well-Met. So right now, Gerd is also pretty much trapped, and you can see how his hit points are dropping fast. He's getting dropped out of the plant already, and that's a big problem as 3D Max is moving in, even using now the Void Prison for the setup.
Yeah, he went very, very far in there, lost that Garden Terror, and now it's going to be an ult galore. He tries to take down Zokke as well as Nomi. They do manage to get out of that position there, though. But the Plant Terror was causing a lot of damage during all of that here for 3D Max. And, well, it's very, very difficult to take a full engagement and get kills as well met there when you're going up against a strong front line of the Garden Terror.
Was a very nice setup, especially for the Nazebo ult that they were trying to use here, which was a bit unintentional here in this case, but we had Nazebo moving down to the bottom immediately and using his ultimate to just like counteract what 3D Max was trying to do, and that nearly turned the tide actually. For a second it looked like 3D Max might lose a hero or two here, which then in the end didn't happen. They got the kill on Muradin and were able to push well met back, but Gedamhead was very, very close to change that with his heroic, but we saw them moving in and cancelling that out, so that was a very, very good play by 3D Max.
Oh, and
nice.
Nazebo just blows up. No chance to be able to use sprint out of that because you are gone. So much lockdown and will be pushed away. Even gets the easy camp, their opponent's easy camp off the back of that. So 3D Max with a really, really nice little momentum start in this game.
Zeratul is really coming through here, and they are just stealing the camps away from the opponent. And don't forget that they have a second plant now coming into play. And if you have really two plants back to back and your opponent doesn't even have more than 20 seeds, then you know that you are in a lot of trouble. Especially that with the second plant, they are definitely going to get level 16. And with that talent, they suddenly have a massive lead over Wilmette, and they are already ahead in this case.
Yeah, ADRD now pressuring top 4, and he's going to do quite a bit of damage to that. Hasselhobbs really wants to push him away, maybe get a grenade in there. Didn't even get that. Wow, ADRD, good reactions, able to dodge that from there. And, well, they're going to try and... 3D Max are going to take their hard camp down to the south as well. So, doing very, very well in terms of those mercenary camps after stealing the first few.
What I like from ADRD is that he uses his thrusters very late. You can't use those too early. If you use them too fast when you're trying to escape, then you might really just lose your hero because suddenly you are a sitting duck that just begs of being taken out. And well, as I say it, he tries to defend alone at the top, but look, they even used all of their heroics there. Well, not all of them, but at least they used the Ravenous Spirit, so they really, really wanted him. They get the fort as well, so it's at least 16 versus 16. From Wilmette's perspective, that was totally worth it. They dropped a few heroic cooldowns for that, and they were able to get this on the same talent. So that wasn't too bad, and now they're starting to rotate again. The plant is still in the middle, trying to push one of the forts down. We have pressure towards the keep at the bot lane, but Wilmette at least has the same talent.
Yeah, and for a little bit longer it was 5 versus 4 situation, so it's difficult for them to stay forwards. But that being said, with the plant terror, they get themselves another fort in mid. Not too much pressure that we can see here from Wilmette to put onto that plant terror because it is so full of health. It's very, very much alive. And now we're seeing Sergeant Hammer come along with the plant terror. Still 40 seconds on it as well, so once Sergeant Hammer gets there, they can continue to apply great pressure here to this wall.
Yeah, and don't forget that with 13 and 16 we have the most important talents for Zeratul, which is one of the playmaker heroes here coming to play with Wormhole and the double bombs for the double singularity spike. Oh, and he's already using it. Jumping in and look, bam! Brightwing is immediately blown apart. That's exactly those kinds of moves that we've been talking about, and he showcases that perfectly. Right now, Wilmette, of course, again in trouble. There's still a couple of seconds on the plant and they're already pushing the hit points of the keep down.
Yeah, jumps in, gets a little bit of damage there on Hasselhobbs, has to jump out for a second, and now the Garden Terror is gone, but it's still a 5v4 situation with ADRD laying siege to that keep, and he's going to be able to get the kill. And even, you know, if they did push forwards a little bit, at least he took hover siege mode, so he can move back a little bit and have a little bit of wiggle room with those engagements going down.
With level 16 talents now, Wilmette, of course, thanks to the stone form on Muradin, has also a lot of sustain, but they are once again kind of slow on the seeds here. We have Yowie just jumping back. He already captured a few of the seeds to the right side, and he's moving to the left. The rest of his team is up at the top. Soccer always trying to utilize Oracle to give vision, but they are again in the position where we have 3D Max trying to chase them down. They want contested. They don't want to give another plant to Wilmette, and they're jumping in. Yowie actually getting rooted by the terror here. He needs to be careful. Is out of it just now. ADRD sieged up in hovering mode, pushing the opponents back. Nice zone control that we're seeing from the Polish team.
Quite a bit of damage done there to Arthas already as he pushed forwards quite far, and they're actually going to go for it straight away. There comes the Avatar as well. And the nice Void Prism to actually lock the other players out of this fight for just a little bit, but they weren't able to capitalize while that Void Prism was down, so no kill during that moment.
Yeah, I think he missed Nazebo here. I'm pretty sure that the original idea of that was to just zone Nazebo out and to make sure that that Spirit didn't do too much damage, but they didn't get that chance. So a bit of a misplay there maybe by Yoba. They are now down one hero. Zeratul is down. They are moving in again though. ADRD with an napalm doing a lot of damage. Hazop's already out of Odin, and Nomi moving in once again. Nika is slowing him with a frost shot. Nomi could still jump away, but Shaihu is already extremely low. But the kill against Muradin regardless, and Soccer is low as well.
Nice attempt to zone out with the zombie wall there and making sure that Nika couldn't get any more kills, but they left Nika. They weren't able to get early on in the fight any focus down on Nika, so he came into that fight very late, but, well, properly very late, but very, very healthy. So getting those kills at the end was nice for Nika.
I have to give some credit to ADRD here. They started to fight this battle with a 4 versus 5 after Zeratul was taken out by Well-Met, and I feel the only reason why they were able to do this much was because of the position that we had for ADRD, where he could just use those corridors, those areas with his napalm and push the opponent back. Vala going for that damage thanks to multi-shot and that burst damage that was behind it. Even the right-click DPS that then took finally Muradin down. So very, very well played by them. Most teams would have disengaged in this situation, but they were just there and were waiting for that. Tacit are now even taken out, and this is starting to look extremely ugly for Well-Met.
Yeah, that pickup was very good. 50 seconds on the respawn there of Tassadar means that this Garden Terror up to the north almost goes down for free. They're going to get a lot extra seeds here, but not only that, they're denying them from Well-Met, who can't really establish themselves on the map because of that potential 4v5.
This should never have happened like this. Suddenly it's really like an entire plant that we are seeing now for 3D Max. No plant for Well-Met. We are 15 minutes in. It's 7 kills against 3, and the situation couldn't be better for 3D Max. The Polish team is looking at an absolutely amazing position here to maybe end game, but definitely take one of the keeps and get their 20.
Yep. We're seeing, unfortunately, here for Well-Met, they have to pretty much camp on their side of the map, not really move out for too much. Now that Tassadar's up there, that will give them a little bit more room, especially when they're moving out and starting to use Oracle, trying to find out their opponent's positioning if they're roaming from lane to lane, for example. So there is an opportunity here for them to take a good fight, but level 20 is rapidly approaching here for 3D Max.
Now 3D Max is not barreling down the mid lane. They are going for the bottom and trying to take another keep, and they should be able to get that easily with ADRD in the backline, especially once that level 20 hits and he's going to pick up the advanced Lava Strike. He can use the safe distance and that damage to drop that keep within seconds, and he's already using that right now as we speak. We have all those additional talents now with another Blink on Zeratul and Vala, and this is just such an amazing spot for them. It's an entire level there ahead. That's going to take an eternity for Well-Met to catch up to.
Yeah, especially when they're having to defend like this. I mean, Tassadar really needs the idea of Twilight Archon here. The extra range it gives will be pivotal once a big engagement comes, if they can get level 20. But for now, they are a little bit stuck. They're having to sit here, having to wait it out. And wow, Joey got actually in right on top of Gerdheim Herm, doing quite a bit of damage. Thankfully, Brightwing will be able to do a bit of healing whilst all this is going on. But they lose another keep, Khaldor.
Yeah, easily. Like, there was not even a problem for them. And look, always Zeratul jumping in with a cleave, needs to move back in this case, but they already wasted their Annihilating Spirit, or the Ravenous Spirit that it is still, and that's the problem. The cooldowns, most of the cooldowns are already low, or they have only Odin and Arc, and that's the only two that they still have. But it doesn't really look like the Polish team is able to end it just now. They are thinking about going for the core, but then decide to move back because they're realizing they are already too low, and especially Nika is very low in mana.
Yeah, quick response there times by ADRD as well to unsiege while Zombie Wall was going up around him and not even use the thrusters to get out of that position. So very quick. And also, I mean, he sat in siege mode there for a long time whilst they were relatively on top of that position. But he had a lot of confidence in his team to keep him alive. Another tower's going to fall top, and this pressure is not going to subside. They're just going to continue on. This is tough to deal with.
It's very tough to deal with. You're completely right. Nomi is going to try and make a play, maybe get a good stun, but so far nobody was really exposing himself. And we still do not see a Ravenous Spirit being up again, and that's a problem because it's one of the high DPS ultimates that they're having in this case. And the problem for them also is if they start using Archon and Odin, the only thing that's going to happen is that 3D Max just moves back and waits that out.
Yeah, by the time it comes off, we'll also see Rain of Vengeance up and running, and there's tons of opportunity for them to just lay down that Divine Hurricane with the sprint on in as well. And then when he does get focused, he has imposing presence there for Uther as well to make sure it's going to be all the more difficult for them to take him down. But at least they've found room now to get their level 20.
Yep. But now we're having also the seeds up on the map again. Ignite has fallen and 3D Max is already in position, takes most of the small camps here, easily gets a plant and can now move down to the bottom where Jove is already in position. Level 20, as you already mentioned, is now on the board for both teams. Here comes once again the Ravenous Spirit. Nice position from Gerd Amherd, but he can only get a bit of damage. He's trying to push ADRD back and he's successful. We have Odin and also Arcan Pop. They're already using that, but the disengage is there. 3D Max is moving away. They had to use some of their heroic abilities too, but they're gonna wait with the fight until Odin and Arcan are over.
Yeah, perfect little counter of just running away. Why not if you're going up against an Archon as well as an Odin? Not losing anyone so important during that. If it had lost one person, then it could have meant a whole lot of damage done to their potential bases, their potential forts on the outer layer at least. But this is a counter initiate.
Yeah, and Leo has his ultimate. He's still waiting for it. He didn't use sprint yet. He can still go for it and try to stun them out. And well, Matt knows that. They're moving back. Apparently they say, guys, this is too dangerous. Let's just be happy with the plan that we have and try to find later. Now it's going to be too tricky, especially since they lose hit points on the core because of the catapults and the siege giants already.
Yeah, none of their ults really off cooldown, only blink heal for obvious reasons off cooldown during all of that. But now we're seeing all of the cooldowns kind of replenish themselves here as we're just going to end up moving down to this bottom. They've already got their Garden Terror, that's the thing, and they're trying to rival for more seeds.
There's a bigger problem, yeah. They might get 2 terrors in a row, and if they do that, then it will be a terror against, well, Met without one, and that is the worst case scenario for them here. So at this point, this is the big fight that really counts. They need to deny those seeds to 3D Max, but oh, Nomi gets stunned out. Very well done, what we saw here from Uther. And now it's a 4 versus 5, of course, and they are already in full retreat.
Yeah, Gerdamo was trying to save for the polymorph, but it wasn't quick enough. Here comes Odin for Hasuop to try and salvage some kind of situation here. Jawa's plant tower actually went quite low during a lot of this, but it's not enough to be able to really kind of rein the fight in here for Well Met. They're going to have to retreat out. Zocca was pretty low. He's going to drop another shield on himself, but Hasuobs almost got caught out there. Finally, they will take the Garden Tower out, and Jara is going to blink back.
But Jove is suddenly in trouble, can blink away from Gerd Amherd's Ravenous Spirit though. And that was actually a very nice position for Hasuops with the Odin that he used there. Only in the end, when the Garden Terror dropped, then finally 3D Max was able to engage. But now that is down, and Gerd Amherd gets immediately initiated. Point goes down already. The nice stun double kill, and maybe even the triple kill as Stocker moves back. And team might not make it. We already have Hasuops down. This could be a team wipe, and it is. And this looks very much like it's also going to be game.
Yeah, I think so. What a brilliant little fight coming out of them. Some very good synergy, good AoE damage actually landing on a few players there. As now 3D Max just moving forwards. Nomi is the only line of defense left. And that was almost an insult to Injury Void Prism at that point.
Yeah, this is not looking pretty at all. I mean, Nomi is trying to do what he can, but the core is down to 50% already. They're just simply going for it. 12 kills against 3, and this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 ends in favor of 3D Max in this best of 3 series at the ESL Major League. So game number 1 ending in favor of 3D Max. They take the lead against Well Met. And we're going to go straight into the second game to find out if 3D Max gets the 2-0 victory against Well Met here. But Well Met has now a very, very different draft going on for them. And that might give them a chance to bring this into a third game, tie the series right here and decide it on the final map. But first of all, let's focus on map number 2. Let's jump right into it. Game number 2, Well Met versus 3D Max. Yeah, let's jump straight into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Cursed Hollow in the best of 3 series between 3D Max and Well Met, and currently the Polish team is ahead with a 1-0 in its best of 3 at the ESL Major League. Starting to the left side of the map in blue, we're having this time Well Met playing, and as you can see right now, they are currently looking at Nomi on Muradin. We're having Hiruka on Uther. It is Tyrande, currently played by Soccer.
And we have got Head playing Tacita this time, not on Sergeant Hammer, since Hazorps used that hero. To the right side in red is Leo from Korea on Brightwing. We have ADRD on Malfurion, Nika on Vala, Shaihu on Arthurs, and Yoba on Tigers. I'm Khaldor, with me is Kaelaris, and we bring you the coverage here at the ESL Major League.
Alright, well, let's get into it then. Already trying to roam around in this top portion of the map, looking to see what they can find out, and Oracle didn't reveal too much there to Gerd, I'm heard, as he's running around in the middle. So, for now, they don't know too much about which lanes they're in.
Leo is bored. He's B-stepping behind the gate.
Oh.
Like, usually that's considered to be really bad manner, but only if your opponent really sees it.
Yeah.
So in this case, he just did it behind the gate because he was waiting for the minions to finally arrive.
Poor little guy. Well, there's a bit of action now, as Hasu's going to have to hold on against in this lane for a little bit. And in the middle, we're just having Tychus going up against Arthas. Up to the top, it's Uther against Valor. So those lanes are going to be a bit stagnant for a while. It's the bottom lane playing out. But Tyrande and Uther, they're looking for that combo of stuns I was mentioning before at the very beginning of this broadcast. And if they get it down on someone like a Valor, etc., even with Volt, you sometimes don't get out of those situations.
Yep. Muradin here with Nomi together with Tyrande looking up at the top lane, and there is Uther. That would be a triple stun if they get the complete combo off. We're having, by the way, Soccer not picking that Hunter's Mark trade that he picked the last time when I saw him play Tyrande. Picked that during the weekend, mostly in the tournaments, and also in the HCL. But right now we're having him once again with Sentinel on level 1. But you can really see that 3D Max is very well aware what's going on. They haven't seen those two heroes yet, so they know what's happening, and they are all very, very cautious.
Yeah, just get straight on out of there. I'm curious, actually, because it's never really popped up in my mind, but when Hiruka actually took that health globe, did Nika see the extra health globe flying towards the other guys in the bush? So there's even more of a tell there as to, oh, maybe there's somebody else present. That might hurt.
The problem that you oftentimes have is that you really have it just ingrained in your head that you need to get that early kill because of a roaming squad. You just waste a lot of time, and they had to do something at some point. 3D Max already knew what was happening there. I mean, these guys know the game, they've played it for a long time, they know exactly that when two heroes are missing, the only thing they can do is either take a camp or try to just lay a trap somewhere. And with the camp spawning at 2 minutes in, there was nothing that they could do. So for now, the only thing that we saw was just like well met, keeping the lanes, making sure that they're having the opportunity to just like get all of the experience with their heartbeat. And then once the camps were there, they went in and tried to take one.
That's right, at least they got the soak. But actually, Arthur's taking quite a bit of damage. There was a small combo of stuns there onto him, but in the end, there's too much pressure here from 3D Max to let that death happen.
Yeah, Nika is already trying to capture that. Ryuka moves in and they're gonna get that tribute. Yes, Soccer just too slow on that Sentinel. Very good job here getting the tribute. So we have one tribute now for well met. Hiruka, for 3D Max I should say, my bad, sorry. We're having actually at the top lane now Hiruka trying to gather up the experience for well met. The Siege Giants have been taken apart too. And a slight lead now in experience for the German team. Well met getting the experience thanks to Hazorps at the bottom lane on Sergeant Hammer.
Yep, doing some good job soaking that. And they're going to take the easy camp over here with the Bribe on Brightwing, so...
Oh, Yoba in trouble and goes down. Nice kill by Wilmet. And we have actually a complete damage build on Tyrande. Very interesting touch. That was the build that was used by Tyrande players just from the early alpha on, where you just try to maximize your damage with the Sentinel build. It has been changed. Oh, Shaihu actually on Arthas is also going down. Nice roaming squads by Wilmet, getting another kill in there too. Now they're leading with a 2-0 and should be able to grab out that tribute. But yeah, the build that we're seeing by Tyrande is the damage build, not the utility build that became popular after Blizzard changed the healing wards.
Yep, with that Empower going down at the level 4, it's going to help out quite a bit. Get those owls flying pretty far and pretty fast, pretty quickly. So it's back to lanes, back to soaking. We've already seen actually Nika stay up in top lane, realizing that they couldn't quite easily challenge that tribute, and did soak up a little bit of experience to catch up, so they did need to do that. They don't want to get into a situation where they're having to go for a tribute against level 10 to level 9.
There was actually a very interesting bug at some point in one of the patches where when you were playing Tyrande, they changed their level 4 talent that we're seeing now, and level 4 currently gives you a 2-second cooldown reduction on your skill if you hit a target. And Blizzard was trying to change something there, because originally that was a cooldown reduction over time. I think it was 2 seconds over 4 seconds, something like that. And the bug actually made it so that both applied. So you could get an insane cooldown reduction per hit, and that made it impossible on maps like Cursed Hollow to pick up a tribute on Blackheart's Bay to turn your doubloons in. So the hero was auto-banned in all of the leagues, and in Quick Match it was a disaster.
Oh, a nice little body block there by Nomi, jumps on in, and again this little roaming squad of Zocca and Nomi paying dividends with the extra combos that they have in terms of those stuns. And as I said at the very beginning of this broadcast, it's a deadly, deadly composition that Well Met love to use, and they've already done alright with it so far. They're going to get another trib.
Yeah, they're gonna get another tribute here. That's the second one for them. Level 10 now for both of the teams, with Starfall being used. We are having, by the way, as already discussed earlier, Tranquility taken by the double healer comp here by Malfurion for 3 max, and not Tranquility. Sorry, not the Silence, since it makes a lot of sense for them. They wouldn't be able to get close enough. But now we're getting Strafe also as an additional talent on Vala, not the Reign of Vengeance.
Yeah, there was a little bit of hesitation once again in the idea of picking that up. Not exactly hesitation, I actually want to rephrase that. It was just thinking about the choice a little bit more, because, you know, there is quite a lot of stun still on the opposing team, but it seems that they're going to kind of forego the idea of being hit by that, and then, uh-oh, Vala, oh dear.
Yeah, another kill at the top. Vala is just so squishy. Once Vault is used, if you anticipate that and drop your stun in the right location, it's very difficult for her to get out of there, especially with that triple stun from Murid and Uther and Tyrande. So job well done once again, and yeah, slowly and steadily. 3D Max is starting to fall behind. A good Owl is straight into that party push, hitting 3 heroes here. 4 kills against 0 so far. Nomi already with the Avatar moving in. Hazobs is catching the tribute. That's going to curse 3D Max. And they're trying to get the interrupt, but Leo is too late.
Too much heal. That healing totem was able to keep them alive good and true whilst capping that trib. But it kind of makes sense to me now, the idea of this damage that Tyrande's able to push out, because the Romy squad, even in mid, we saw a very, very close to kill to Malfurion like about a few minutes ago. But there's so much damage coming out from both of them that it really, really causes great problems for them, and does not hit that Lunar Flare, so Malfurion can get out safely.
I really think that Malfurion pick was just not really what they needed there. Once again, Malfurion gets stunned once, twice, and taken out. It's just that drop with the Hunter's Mark that they can use so easily, and they're dropping hero after hero, and Malfurion just didn't pay off yet. They didn't have any kind of big team fights where he could use his heroic ability, but a different hero, in my opinion, would have done so much more for the team.
Yeah, maybe. What were you really alluding to the idea of somebody else in their team here?
I was really thinking that they, first of all, might start to think about a second frontliner. That would have been probably not been a bad idea. And if they really want to have something else, they could have gone for a hero that jumps in like Kerrigan. Kerrigan could have tried lockdown. Difficulty is to keep her alive, but they could use the protective shield for that. And they, I feel, just need something that has a bit more CC that they're currently using, and also something that can really put the pressure on the backline, because Tyrande is extremely squishy, so you can take her out. But so far, Tyrande was never even in danger.
And this boss was spotted earlier on by an Owl, so they're going to have to contest it. With Malfurion here now, they're going to have to just make do with what they've got in this game. But taking this boss is going to be extremely difficult with Well Met pushing onto this territory, making it hard for ADRD as well as the guys to push forwards. Oh, they're very clumped.
Yeah, very clumped. Nice Howling Blast there, but there's the Healing Ward to make up for the area damage, and bam! Another kill, just like that, straight in the face of Brightwing, and he is down, and that is going to give the boss to Well Met, and Well Met is doing exceptionally well here. They're taking down the bottom lane, they're pushing in with the boss over there, taking down the gate, and now focusing on the towers. We're having the second boss taken up at the top, and not a single kill in this game for 3D Max so far.
Yeah, it's been difficult, it has. It looks like we're seeing a very well coordinated Well Met here in game number 2. As you were mentioning before, not a single kill on the lineup. Just a few here and there speckled about for Well Met. Who have been, again, the combination of Nomi and Zocca roaming in that earlier phase really did very, very nicely for them.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, we did not see 3D Max fall behind that fine experience. That happened a bit later. So the kills were, of course, extremely annoying, but they can still turn that around if they're able to get into a team fight. I just don't know how they could get close enough to the opponent. They very much lack in initiation, especially with Vala not going for Rain of Vengeance, but using Strafe. With that, you always want to be as far away from the opponent's team as you can. So the only hero to really start initiation is Arthur's with the Howling Blast, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. And for that to happen, they're going to have to, you know, maybe even be clumped up. If they can jump on one person, then great, but it really depends on who they actually hit. Because if Gerdem Herd's quick enough, he can actually just shift out of the position. And they would really like to start rivaling some of these tribute points, but with level 16 just about to hit here for Well Met, they're actually going to give this one up in favor of Merc Camps by looks of things.
They can easily do that. They have already, like, they know that this is only going to be the second one, and they can interrupt it as well. This is once again one of the strengths that we see from Tyrande, who went not for rewind, but in this case for the additional stun, of course catering to the comp that they're currently playing. And here we go again. Leo stunned once, stunned twice. Here comes even Starfall, just for good measure, and as you could see, Hunter's Mark was being used too. So yeah, they lose another hero. That's the 7th now that went down. They even get the tribute, and they're gonna kill ADRD now as well.
Yep, still the stuns available. He ends up falling. As you said, they got the trib. I'm really surprised they were able to get that, considering how long they actually gave the window, but Hero Owl in the end able to slow that down. And now another keep is under pressure. There's 2 down. It's their healers as well. They don't have the sustain here to stick around to do 3D Max.
Well, 3D Max, yeah, both of the healers are dead. That comp just did not work out at all. I was surprised by the Malfurion pick. I'm not sure what exactly the thought process was behind it yet. Maybe to keep that Arthur's never really died, but they never got the damage in, even though they have 2 good damage heroes there. There's no initiation. They were lacking something like Kerrigan. Any kind of melee assassin could have given them that. Even the Tyrael, if they wanted to go for some kind of double comp, but in this case, yeah, it's getting very, very tricky for them. They are behind a talent, and even when they pick that up, I'm not quite sure how they plan on getting back into that game. It's going to be difficult.
Yep, and, you know, we're seeing here, Well Met slowly moving around and killing off these mercenaries that are pushing on forwards. Maybe try and push on for this. I mean, they don't necessarily have to, but rivaling this point is quite nice. Nick are going to get slowed down once again by the Owl. They are going to push from forwards, and here comes Haruka running straight on him with that sprint. Tries to land a stun, doesn't get the combination with his teammates though. So not exactly the most amazing engagement just yet, but they're going to play this out slowly at 3D Max as well.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to give that up again, and that means second tribute in this case for them. Oh, AD already goes down. The stun comps are too much, and that Hunter's Mark is dropping these heroes easily. Nika was trying to get his own strafe in, but not enough damage to the opponent's team. They look helpless at this point.
I mean, that could have been extra overkill. The Divine Storm actually didn't hit for that kill on ADRD, but extra stuns, extra damage all coming into him at the same time. No doubt with Hunter's Mark on him as well. I didn't quite catch that, but he was taking big, big damage there. And, yep, as you said, 3D Max just up against their wall every single time. At least those 2 siege minions have done all right, down to the bottom lane, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they are doing at least a bit work, but still, like, what are they going to achieve? Even if they push in the entire wall, that's not going to help them. We have 1 keep already taken out, that's the top keep. Another tribute would curse them. They can easily de-push the bottom lane, send another owl up to the top. Actually, they don't do that. They want to try and find out where they are exactly, get a bit of vision of the position, and then use the second one maybe to stun the tribute out. I'm not quite sure if they can do that. Okay, they were just planning apparently to get the boss in the first place and making sure that they wouldn't be disturbed there.
Oh dear.
Fair enough.
And with that boss pickup there, as it does happen, they could potentially rival this top boss pickup as well later on. I mean, it respawns in 20 seconds, and there's ample time for them to eventually get over there. So they might go up there and try and pressure that.
Yeah. That's usually the idea. If you get that at the first time, then you always try to run with it again. Take the bottom, and you know that your opponent has to react to it, or they're going to lose one of the keeps. So they are rotate up to the top immediately. And that is something that 3D Max already knew. Yeah. Once the boss was taken, they knew, okay, we have to defend against 2 of the bosses now, and they have to do that. And that just simply puts them into a passive spot. I'm not really sure. I actually think that Well Met is not going to try and end with a boss that they're taking at the top lane right now, because they do not have the talent lead.
They could try to rush that in because there is currently no fort, so the boss is going to go straight for the core. But they are most likely just going to use their map control, grab another tribute, put the curse on them, get as many of the camps as they can, because they know that 3D Max cannot move out.
Yeah, they're still just pinned in. Even if they are this far out, it's the idea of pinned in by this golem in this lane, and there may be the potential here for Nomi to land something as he is going to move forwards, jumps forwards as well, lands a stun on top of Arthas. The Lunar Flare actually catches him too. But actually, you know, the Tranquility has been able to keep them alive a lot during all of this, and the stun combination didn't quite work out just yet for Well Met.
Yeah, suddenly they're trying to turn it around here. Get Hurt already moving back. And good old Gad has a bit of a problem there. They are able to just move back for now. We have the boss being attacked. I'm really surprised they were trying to move in for it like this, but they gave it a shot. Didn't lose anybody there, but are now starting to move back to at least take down the wall in the mid lane and put some pressure onto that keep here. The boss, of course, going down. A few hit points already gone on the core. But what about the keep in the middle? Can they take it? They might.
They may do. Looks like the potential counter-initiation, but actually Brightwing was away, coming back in now. I think if they'd have hit anybody but Arthas during that engagement there, then it would have been alright, but that's a really nice Howling Blast to start things off. Are they going to pursue off it? It doesn't look like it just yet. Going to take it slow.
Keep is gone, and they can play it very, very slow, rotate to the bottom lane. Time is also working in their favor. Every time that they're fighting for an objective on the map, they know that, since the lanes are going to push in very hard against 3D Max now. The Polish team is in all kinds of trouble now. They need the level 20, but they already know that Well Met is going to hit that faster, and Well Met should try to end when they hit 20.
Just going to take this easy camp up to the north, take the hard camp down to the bottom, with Tassadar going completely ham. Really needs a little bit of support there. But the hard camp has already been taken over on the other side. But as you said, I mean, these lanes are just going to keep pushing in. Those cannon minions doing a lot of work for them. And level 20 is about to hit here for Well Met. So all kinds of problems, even more problems on the way for 3D Max.
Well Met has two options with this. They can either just say, okay, we go and try to end, or they can say we play it extremely slow and take down the bottom keep first. But with level 20 and the window that they have, they should try and do something. They have already all of the objectives and all of the mercenary camps that were on the map taken. So unless there are a few that are on a very, very low countdown, cooldown, they should now go straight to one of the lanes and take either keep or try and go for core. And it looks like they are going to wait for the Siege Giant camp here. And they could even just let the Siege Giant camp push the bottom lane alone and move into the middle and put pressure on the core.
And moving forwards now, revealing the position here of Sergeant Hammer, so they know exactly where they are. And we'll try and take this camp and try and push it through. So, but again, they're still having to deal with the other lanes. Top lane's going to push forward slowly up at the top with that easy camp, easy mercenaries even.
Yeah, and well, top lane, as you said, is being pushed. So once again, there's the problem for 3D Max that they can't stand there forever. Oh wait, he already gets nearly killed, uses Tranquility in the last second, and that's the cue for Shaihu to move in on Arthas. But the stun against the entire team, Archon being used as well, and down goes Arthas. Now there's no tank left. Nika drops second, and it is Yobo who pops out of the Archon just a second later, and out of the Odin. And now it looks like we are gonna see a third map between the teams. There's no way that Well Met is gonna give this game away.
Yeah, Well Met got the majority of the composition that they want going into second game, and unfortunately 3D Max didn't quite have their composition work out for them here, as 3D Max going up against it. They won game one, but Well Met is going to be able to claw this back. Core does fall. Well played by Well Met.
GG, and we're going to go into game number 3 here at the ESL Major League between 3D Max and Well Met.
So second game, a very, very different match from what we've seen on the first map. But we are going into the last game between those two teams. And I can promise you one thing, the last map, absolutely great match that they played there. And this is of course going to be a great game here. I love it when a game goes into the third map, and this is no exception. Blackheart's Bay is the map. Well Met versus 3D Max, the decision on Blackheart's Bay, now on Khaldor TV.
Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, at the ESL Major League. We are looking once again at Well Met going up against 3D Max, and starting to the left side in this third game, we're having Leo from Korea for 3D Max on Uther, ADRD on Reina, Nika on Vala, Shaihu is playing Arthas, Jove is playing Zeratul, and to the right side of the map it is Well Met with Hazops on Tychus. We are seeing Nomi playing Muradin, Get Amherd with Sergeant Hammer, Soccer playing Tacita, and Hiruke on Brightwing. I'm Khaldor, with me is Kaelaris, and we're going to bring you this last game of the best of 3 series between 3D Max and Well Met.
Alright, so heading off already up to the watchtower, it's going to be Sergeant Hammer as well as Reina going to be sitting down in the bot and challenging for this watchtower. Important vision control here. Leo from Korea can take a little bit of damage on the start of that.
Yeah. And we have a few adjustments already in terms of how the builds work here. Well, first of all, what we said in the pre-lobby is already a reality. We have at the bottom lane the Sergeant Hammer going up against Reina, so that penetrating round that Reina has is going to help him to keep the Sergeant just a bit far out of the reach from the towers. Still a battle at the watchtower, by the way. And the heroes picked up some interesting talents. At least Reina and Muradin did. Muradin is going for the Thunderclap build, which we see against a lot of right-click damage, and that is definitely the case with Jove, Nika, and Reina being playing the heroes that they play in this particular game. So we're seeing that, and we also have an adjustment with the Seasoned Marksman taken by Reina, and that will allow him to get the extra damage in, especially since there are of course also the mini-camps on the map to consider that give you extra stacks for that.
Yeah, especially if he's going to be sitting around in the bot lane as well, which will be a little bit more quiet compared to a bit more fighting up at the top. But of course, up until the point when those coins come up, and then they will be challenging for that. So there is an opportunity for him to get quite a bit of farm here in terms of those kills.
Yeah, and he's trying to get that farm in right now. At the top lane, we have of course both of the teams just like trying to soak the experience. When it comes to coins, we have Hazo up so far with 2, but most of the coins ended up in the hands of 3D Max, so they were already able to just dominate that first part of the chests. They're moving in again with Zeratul and with Shaiku on Arthas, trying to lock somebody down, but Hazo was already in full retreat as he saw those two coming.
Good Amherd and Hiruke able to push back in the bot lane though, and make sure that Reina isn't having any room really to apply some pressure or even push the lane too much, but will actually push Good Amherd back with that shot, so not much more going on there.
Yeah, that penetrating round is extremely important when it comes to the defense that we are going to see at the bot lane. Just making sure that he can always push Get Amherd back a bit so that he is not in range of the towers, cannot do too much damage. The important part really when we're talking about those ghost ship barrages is that in the mid lane, which is the first lane that is being attacked by Blackheart's ship, you need to take one of those towers down to half HP, and then the first barrage is gonna kill the fort. That's extremely important to note, if your especially if your opponent has a mule.
Yeah. You don't want to be wasting those shots on Blackheart's ship, that's for sure. And well, good Amherd and Hiruke down at the bottom, just actually retreating off for a little bit there, looking to get that siege camp just a little bit later than that 2-minute mark, trying to get back there and get that going.
Another thing that's important to note is the rotation that we're seeing from the ghost ship. So once the mid fort is destroyed, the next shots are going to hit the top fort, and after that the bottom fort, and then we continue with the same cycle in the mid keep to top keep to bottom keep.
That's true, that's true. You got to really pay attention to that, because again, as you mentioned, you don't necessarily want them to be wasted on the idea of towers. You can take that down a little bit easier, so, a lot easier than the idea of a fort. Nick is already working on top.
There's the turn already. Shaihu was just like turning that in, and now they have the first barrage going straight into the mid lane. They didn't really put pressure on one of those towers yet, but they have 4 heroes there, so they could easily now try and do that. And they're already moving in for the first one, and yes, as they do it, they will be able to take down the first one without, or the keep with the fort, I should say, without a problem.
Yeah, Nomi was just trying to hold off for a second. Hiruka's going to come in and try and reinforce there as well, but let's say that is quite a bit of damage being done here. They're also doing quite a bit of damage down at bottom, though. Here are Well Met in trade-off for that, getting themselves some towers whilst all this is going on.
Yeah, and that surprises me just a bit, because to be quite frank with you, I would have thought that at least one of the heroes that we're seeing for 3D Max is going to stay at the bot lane and tries to defend against it. And Reyna moves in now. The fort wasn't lost, and that's the important part, but they destroyed the wall, and they're also going for the next camp, which is the hard camp at the bottom lane. That's going to give them 2 additional coins, and also, of course, more pushing presence than at bottom. The chests spawn at right this point, so top chest is most likely going to end up in the hands of 3D Max, and the bottom chest in the hands of Well Met. But Well Met has a very neat push going on for them after they take this hard camp.
Wow. Oh, Reyna and Arthas actually obliterated that chest very fast, so the speculation of where that was going, unfortunately, didn't go the right way, and they get a lot of the coins from that, which makes the potential of putting on a lot of pressure with Blackheart later on pretty good, as long as they don't actually lose a lot of those coins.
Yeah, but there comes the turn, and now nice dodge by Nika against the Stormbolt that we saw from Nomi there. But now we have that barrage going on for Well Met, and that also means that 3D Max cannot turn in, and both teams are fighting for the faster level 10 now.
Yeah, it's very, very close here, as both of them take it at exactly the same time, so they have to be a little bit careful. It is going to be Hyperion actually taken here for Reyna, but he's already going low. There are grenade as well as some overkill damage trying to take him out, but Hasu will get out of there.
Yep, Hyperion, we talked about that a bit earlier, and I can't believe that it's really happening. With the Void Prism, it's a great talent to take, and they are putting it to good use, doing a lot of damage. Hasu jumping out of Odin immediately, not even the healing ward helping him out there. And suddenly the lockdown against Zocke, and Tassadar needs to get away. Does he have Dimensional Shift up? He could really need it.
I can't believe Hasu got out during all of that. I can't believe it, but that is the case. Now 3D Max are actually going to back off. Neither team losing a player during that exchange, despite big damage being traded. But in the end, the sustain here for Well Met has won out, and they're continuing to push on that bot lane.
AD already used the Hyperion pretty early in that fight. He wanted to push them back, and he succeeded with that, but that's also why he didn't get as much damage in as he was trying to go for. Shaihu is actually very low and is most likely going to die here. They couldn't kill Zeratul, but yep, that's the second kill for Well Met now. But they turned in 11 coins before that happened.
Yep. So not too bad. Can try and just grab themselves that one more coin, but we're already seeing Zocke and Nomi looking to go for their opponent's easy camp here. And in essence denied a few of these coins if they're able to get that. Uh-oh, ADRD, oh no.
Yeah, someone is very much out of position. He does not get away, that's the kill. That was just the attempt from Nomi and Zocke to get that easy camp to the left side, and then suddenly they realized that there was nobody else at the bot lane except for Reyna, and they just said, thank you very much, and took him out.
Yep, nice easy pickup there, nice easy pickup. And that's going to give them a little bit more of an opportunity. I mean, they already got that fort from that. Now they can just fall back, take their camps, get a few more coins out themselves. But for now, if there was the pickup of one coin, it would be a little bit more difficult to deny that. They are a bit out of position. There was the check from Haruka there on the boss because they weren't aware of where they all were at that point in time.
You can really see the strategy now with the abilities that were taken by 3D Max, that they're going to try to set up a good Void Prism and then kill everything that was captured with Hyperion, with Rain of Vengeance, and the additional stun that we're seeing from Uther as the team stun. So they are trying to utilize that as much as they can. On the other hand, when we're looking at the lineup that Well Met is playing, they are still trying to just use that front line with Muradin, the damage from behind with all those heroes that they have there, especially of course the Sergeant Hammer. Has the both heroic abilities with Odin and Archon that can do a lot in those fights. But yeah, this is going to be a very cool battle between the two teams. Very traditional build for Well Met, and that's area of effect damage build, if you so want, for their opponent.
Yep. Chests end up popping up again, and they are going to be able to contest this top one, that's for sure, but 3D Max probably going to get the bottom one with Zeratul as well as Reyna there. They could get themselves a fort though, which would be nice, but they are being barraged at this point as well by Blackheart, so they're going to lose a fort in turn.
One of the things that of course becomes extremely important on this map is the question, how many structures can you take down without using the objectives on the map, without using those ghost ship barrage? Because if you are able to, let's say, kill all of the forts without that, it means that you get very easy access to the keeps, since the cost for every single ghost ship barrage is of course increasing.
Yeah, you're right. If it costs less later on in the game, then you're having a very good time. There's actually 5 up top, and they do show in the vision of that watchtower, so they're actually going to show the position on boss and engage it, so it's dying very fast. They're going to have to get up here quickly.
It's going to be an easy picking for them anyways. Void Prism is up, so the worst case scenario is Zeratul has to use Void Prism.
And gonna get out of there as well. Unfortunately, well met. Kind of get caught off guard off that. Of course, they did get that turn in. There is barraging the top here, and the Void Prism has locked them down in position.
Oh, what a great Hyperion! Really nice, but Uther dies first, and Wilmet is still alive, and as I said, down goes Hazops. Hyperion still doing damage, but that positioning from ADRD was beautiful.
Such a sick combo. Such a sick combo. Able to take so much damage towards well met there. And all the while, the boss has been able to push on forwards. Actually, 2 siege minions have been doing alright at the bottom lane again here. Bit of deja vu, but, well, that boss doing alright.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, ADRD walked to the left side here, trying to get the perfect angle for Hyperion, and he did. They lost Uther in the engagement as he was trying to get his team stun off, but then they killed not only Hazu, but also Tacita. So they have a slight lead in experience, are able to take now the objectives on the map, which in this case are the mercenaries down to the bot lane. Looking at the talents, we have now Frost Shot on Vala as well, Relentless on Arthas is going to keep him alive even a bit more. And these are now the talents where especially Zeratul gets this massive buff in mobility with Wormhole and then also the double bomb with the singularity spikes that he can use. There are 9 coins on Yoruba that he wants to turn in, and yeah, this is starting to shape up as a very nice match for 3D Max if they can get those turn-ins now.
Yeah, they've got a lot of coins available to them. They just want Joe as well as Shaiku to turn in here, and that will be a lovely little 14. The rest are going to zone out for now. Nomi really wants to jump in there and do something, but he doesn't have proper support available to him, and has to give that up for now. Give it up.
Yeah, that could be another Void Prison, by the way. We're having the opportunity for them here. All the cooldowns are ready again. The Ghost Ship is doing his thing, and they can jump in right now, and it looks very much like they're going to try and do that. Shaiku is already moving in. Where's that Void Prism not being used just yet? Oh, Zocke already in Archon. Odin popped by Hazops. Are they disengaging? It looks like they're trying to.
Nick took a lot of damage during all of that. There's the Void Prism, though. 4 have been hit. And they're going to try and line up what they can here. There goes Rain of Vengeance as well as Divine Storm. Nomi's going to take a lot of damage during all of that. And, oh, just barely falls with a jump out. There goes Zocke as well. Look at Leo from Korea. Manages to escape. I can't believe it.
He gets away. Oh, down goes Reina and Vala, though. But yeah, that he lives, that is insane. Hiruka is so low as well. All of them are trying to get away. At the end of the day, it's a 2 versus 2 trade between them. But that was a very sick battle.
Yeah, the potential turnaround there at the end for well met to actually get some kills off themselves. I mean, if we hadn't seen a retreat out from 3D Max, despite them getting the first 2 kills, we could have seen even more happen on the other side of 3D Max. They could have lost 4 there.
I actually think that Rain of Vengeance did not hit properly. I couldn't see it exactly, but it looked a bit like those stuns were not really synced quite as well as they wanted to. We had an immediate drop on the hit points of Uther, and I'm not really sure if that front line that was trapped under the Void Prism was stun locked as much as 3D Max was hoping for. Reina's Hyperion did a lot of work there, but that could have been like much worse for Wellmet.
I mean, it's always a shame when you're 3D Max, you line that up really nicely, and the target you have to end up focusing in that situation is Nomi, the Muradin, right? Yeah, of course you want somebody else, but that's just how it goes. That was the closest target, that's who they took down fast. But in the end, if it had been one of the squishier players, they could have taken them down even faster and limited a lot of the damage. So, you know, it goes blow for blow in the end.
Yeah, now we have coins up on the map again, chests, and also the turn-in attempt from Wellmet that has not been spotted yet. So the chest is being taken, but Wellmet is going to get that turn-in. They're going to get it fast. We have camps pushing for the opponent now, though. Oh, yes, there's Nomi. Gets locked down. Gets the stun against Shaiku. And the rewind being used and ends up being useless. Not hitting Arthas.
Yeah, really wanted to lock him down so they could just all pounce. But, as you said, not the opportunity. Hasu Obs, 8 coins. Tychus, you have to be careful, son. That's... But likewise, well, Shaiku has 8 coins, but he is an Arthas, so it is a little bit different. Ooh, those mines... Very
Yowa is still looking for that Void Prison.
Yeah, he was really wanting that. He was hunting it down.
Yeah, and Wellmet moves back and leaves now the turn into their opponents, which is not quite giving them... Yeah, it doesn't give them the Ghost Ship Barrage. No. Not just yet. 13 out of 16.
Yeah, and it's getting pretty expensive for them now, actually. So, as this goes on, There is a slight little favour there for Well Met if they want to actually get that going, but of course they still have another outer fort to push down, which they would love to do later on. We just brute force alone.
Yeah, at the top lane now, Nomi and his team, they are looking towards the boss. I don't think they can really engage that, especially not with Void Prism still being up, even with the Tassadai in the team. And this is, yeah, there's Oracle already being used. The attempt to stunlock somebody with a Storm Bolt not working out just yet. And once more, Zeratul is waiting for a chance to drop his Void Prism.
Yep, Godam Herd was sieged up, gets himself into a better position though, just moving back. Clearing up a few of these mines though. Very important there, nice little move by ADRD. They can be a hell of a nuisance later on if they are left alive. It must have taken Bullhead Mines, right? Yeah, so even the displacement that Bullhead Mines offers during these fights can be crucial. It can really get you out of spot.
I love how it just like jumps in, jumps out, doesn't even reveal himself, doesn't use anything, just says like, okay, I only want to see what's going on, I only want to see where exactly they are, if they're maybe clustered behind this wall so that I can get that Void Prism in.
Oop, Shaiku has to move back, takes a bit of damage there to Storm, almost gives up the position here of the Watchtower, and without that, it makes them a little bit blind. They don't have Oracle to work with the 3D Max, so they really want to contest this position. Slow start to this fight.
Yeah, both teams still looking at level 19 now. There are no 20 talents just yet. And both of them really making sure that they get the proper position, especially Get Amherd now in the mid lane with the tower. Has the vision that he needs. Storms coming down one after another, locked down with a Howling Blast, but still no Void Prism, still no initiation by 3D Max. Maybe now trying to go in, and there it is! There it is! They're going for it! They're going for it right away! Here comes Hyperion, where's that stun? This time really good against Hazuops! Oh my god, they dropped so low already, but now with Odin Archon they have a ton of sustain and they're using it.
Yeah, they were able to kill off Odin quickly, but Hasu managed to jump out just after that was all going on. Tassadar really powering out a lot of damage there. Nemu's going to jump forwards, looking for the pursuit. Tries to get hammer down on Arthas. Isn't going to continue it on, though.
Very well done here. Like, surviving that was not easy from Well Met. They got all of their abilities in first, but now they lose another chest, and 2 of those are on the map. That's a lot of coins. That's 10 in total once again. And they're not going for boss yet either. But yeah, surviving that was very well done. We had everything just like popped by them. Had those heals, the first aids being used, and they survived that without a single loss. But now it's going to be another ship against them.
Yeah, even getting more coins down here as ADRD as well. So controlling that space is nice. They are towards level 20 a little bit faster, and maybe even get it with actually this barrage that's going to occur. That's going to be a lot of extra experience going their way. I gotta say, before, I really, really liked how Wemmer was able to wrestle away that tower from them. I think that was... It's a small thing, but vision is so important, especially when you've got a hammer, and especially when your opponents don't have Oracle. So it was cool, but in the end, well, we know how the fight went.
Yeah, with a hovering mode that would have been way, way easier, but we see the Spider-Man build for Get Amherd, so he wasn't really able to just hover his tank into range. So they used instead Storm to really push them back. That double Storm does a lot when it comes to zoning. And now they are attempting to turn in again, or are they just contesting boss immediately? There's a lot of coins on the hand, but yep, there goes the boss. They're a bit too late, and this should be another turn in then instead.
Yep, that's not too bad for them. They're going to have to all fall back and try and reinforce there. There is the wall in the way of that keep, though, so that boss shouldn't be able to get too much done. Although, well, of course, we actually have the hard camp also pushing forwards as well, whilst they're going to take their own hard camp. So, that's quite a bit of damage. They can probably get the wall quite nicely.
Yep, level 20 is now also jumping in. Legion of Northrend already used. 1 Bolt of the Storm should become a second on Vala. There it is. And of course we see the additional Hyperion upgrade into the Battle Hyperion. For Uther, Divine and Hurricane is probably going to be the choice. And we have them. Do we have them already with a complete... Yeah, it's another shot. That's going to take down the mid-keep if they get it.
So really keeping themselves in this. Also getting the bribe down there on the enemy's easy camp to have that push on forwards as well. That will be reinforcing Khaldor quite quickly, but they're getting extra coins for this on their opponent's side of the map, which is nice.
Yeah, and right now it's actually a very close game still. We have 6 kills against 4. Yoba is looking for a fight. Both teams have so many coins that you don't really want to lose them. And suddenly, Shaihu is being attacked here. We have Zeratul in position still, but he needs to be careful that he doesn't run into that minefield. At the same time, they're moving back here. And yeah, they are just fighting for map control in the middle, but there's mines everywhere, and they need to get rid of those first.
Yeah, here comes ADRD as well as Arthas to clean up some of those. Alright, so it's going to be a small contestation here for a while. Here comes Brightwing to help this fight out. 10 coins on Saichu, wow.
Is he going to use that Void Prism here again? That's of course what they're trying to go for. Once again, that attempt to take down the entire team in the Battle Hyperion, and also that Divine Hurricane is going to add a lot of damage to that. And that's most likely what's going to happen here very soon. Yova is looking for it. Goes actually for a double Singularity Spike that doesn't really hit anything there just yet.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of damage being pumped out to Nomi, thanks to just the pure range of Valor before all of that as well. But this is going to be a slow fight. He lands a Howling Blast on Nomi, but they're not going to follow that up just yet. He saw the positioning of Leo from Korea, and well, there could have been a nice Divine Hurricane there if he'd have committed to it, but decides to play this a little slower. Again, they're actually taking a lot of damage. It's the chip away potential of the composition that we're seeing here from Wellmet that does a lot.
They should move back, and they're not. This is a bad decision. They cannot fight such a long battle against a hammer. That just does not work at level 20 when you have Advanced Lava Strike. Now they use already Void Prism. They lost Zeratul. It was a bad choice to really stand there this long. They need to move faster if they are against the hammer. You cannot do that against him. On level 20, the range on the Advanced Lava Strike is insane. The damage is crazy, and they were half hit points without even a battle happening.
I guess they really, really wanted to contest that coin turn-in, because now we're seeing Wellmet pile on the pressure again, hitting this wall. The middle lane is already being hit as well, and 3D
they could
Max
have contested, you know, they were just too timid. They need to grow a pair in this situation and just either go for it or retreat. That's the two choice that they have. They were waiting for an opportunity, they didn't get it. ADRD suddenly extremely low. Battle Hyperion is being used, and Battle Hyperion is doing damage, and that stun. Muradin is already down. Can they kill more than that? Look at Hiroka just speeding himself up, and he barely survives.
Yeah, and they're not going to take out Arthas anytime soon. He just powers on forwards. He's going to pick himself up a Hasu Obs kill on the Tychus there. And Hiroka, as well as Gerdheim Herd, should be able to get out from here. But those are a nice few kills there going to 3D Max.
Yeah, that was very, very well done. And it started all with them trying to initiate upon Reyna, and that just didn't work. So very well played here by 3D Max, turning that around. I was already fearing for their life in this game, to be honest with you, after that kill that we saw on Zeratul. The mid keep still has been taken by that turn-in that they saw earlier. Now we're having 3 heroes still down for Wellmet. 3D Max is doing well, is trying to get more coins so that they can get the turn-in. They're going to move into the middle of the map immediately, and that turn-in would drop the mid keep for 3D Max as well and put some pressure onto the top one too.
Yeah, very, very close game in this best of 3. Very nice to see this kind of as close as it is. Actually, middle keep has taken more damage than I even expected it to have. It's already quite low. So if they were to mount some kind of assault through there, maybe they could pick that up. But they're going to play it slow. They're just going to take themselves those coins, and that's going to bring it down, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the boss is 20 seconds away, so with that happening too, there's an option of the teams fighting it out at the top lane, and whoever gets the boss will have a very good position to either push in with it, or just say like, okay, we're gonna get a free turn in here now.
Yep. So at least the middle lane will gain some stability here for 3D Max. Also a few cannons heading up to the north and try and do some damage there, but shouldn't be able to get that fort. As for now, just heading on back, and as you said, the boss has respawned, so this could be the next point of contention. Nomi, Gerdheim Herd, Hasu, and Sokka are already up here.
Yeah, and looking at the bottom lane, we still have Hiruka starting to push those waves back that are sent up against the bot lane, and that remaining keep that we see there. We have now everybody just moving up towards the top. Brightwing is going to jump in soon with a phase shift too. But you could see in the last battle what happens when that Battle Hyperion is getting a good angle on that fight. And if you can set up with the Void Prism, then Wellmet needs to be super careful and really pop Odin, Archon, Avatar on Muradin and make sure that they somehow are able to stay alive. Because that's not going to be easy.
Going to take the hard camp now. Wrestle back the vision here, but not as strenuously as previous on that watchtower. But they're actually starting boss, and we're already seeing Joey move up there, and he does spot this. I think. Should be able to.
Yeah, there should be an Oracle. Soccer should still have Oracle available. And they're starting to move in. It's once again slow. They need to initiate at some point. They need to make a decision. They already forced them back from boss, which is a good start. But now they need to make a decision where they want to engage. And apparently Shaiko is trying to jump in here. He's low already, gets healed. It's stunned. Where's Zeratul? Oh, Nome is extremely low here. And there comes the Battle Hyperion. Bad combo with the Void Prism. But he uses it immediately again. Makes it disappear. And down go 3 heroes, 4 heroes. Oh my god, it's a team wipe.
Oh, brilliant little pickup there. I mean, yeah, the lineup wasn't perfect, but it works out in the end. I mean, it's good enough to get the team wipe. It's good enough for them to just plow on forwards. And that is just basically going to win them the game. There's not a whole lot that's going to be able to stop them.
Oh,
50 seconds on respawn.
It's much better if you like make that mistake with the Void Prism and the Hyperion than when you do it with the Shock and Awe. Because in terms of the Shock and Awe, suddenly it's gone. The Hinterland Blast is just disappearing, but the Battle Hyperion still can do the damage. So he just like disperse the bubble, and now we have an entire team wiped, and that Battle Hyperion doing so much damage with the rest of them wins them this game in the best of 3. 3D Max, they take it, they win the game, and therefore another best of 3 match at the ESL Major League.